Yes, as mentioned before, we will first have the presentation. It will take about 20 minutes, and afterwards we will go to your questions. And so we should have enough time to answer all of them, I hope. Welcome again, and I'm really happy that you joined today the presentation of FernUni that I would like to tell you more about. First of all, my name is Desiree. I work at the international office at FernUni, and I will start with a brief overview of our university. I will also talk about our students and the most important part, of course, about studying at our university, what makes it special and what opportunities you can have at our university. So first about FernUni in Hagen. Well, where is FernUniversität in Hagen? Actually, it is in Germany, of course, physically. It is in the western part of Germany, quite close to Düsseldorf. The main campus is located in a city called Hagen. However, actually, the city is not that important because the FernUni is Germany's only public state-owned distance teaching university in Germany, which makes it quite special among other universities. And even though our main campus is in Hagen, we have many other campus locations all throughout Germany. There are 13 in Germany, mostly in the biggest cities like Berlin, Hamburg, or Munich, but we also have a few in Austria and one in Budapest in Hungary and in Switzerland. These campus locations provide services to our students and as a main contact point for you. So we are actually not only in the small town Hagen, but you can find us almost everywhere. Yes, what makes FernUni special is that it's actually the largest public university in Germany if you look at the student body. Here are a few numbers, and you can see that we have almost 70,000 active students at our university. What is also striking is that the majority of our students is working while they are studying, so they already have a professional career. And about 15% of our students do not have a typical or traditional high school entrance diploma, but still manage to study with us. And also there are 7.3% of our students that live abroad and not actually in Germany. How that works, I will mention later and answer your questions about. And what is also striking is that we have 9% of our students that are non-German citizens. So about our students, who is FernUni for and especially why? Why especially distance learning? Well, there are some good reasons to study at our university. For example, if you're studying in several places at the same time and you will still want to study at another university, of course, it's physically quite impossible to be at several places at the same time. Or also if you study abroad, if you have to take care of your family, have care activities, or if you are involved in other projects that keep you busy and don't give you the possibility to travel to a university city. Or if you are looking for qualification while you are already working. Those are all good reasons why you can start a study with us. Well, one of our most famous alumni is Matthias Macher. He's an astronaut who also went to the International Space Station. He studied with us business administration, and he says that being able to study while in different countries was very helpful for him. The studies at FernUni were quite important for his part of his working life. This is just a short overview, but I want to tell you a bit more in detail how studying at our university works, how the system works, and all the requirements and costs of our study. So our system for studying, it's personal, flexible, and mobile, because during your whole study, you can decide how fast you want to study, how much time you will take, and in which mode you want to study. So how does that work? First of all, I want to address the aspect of digital learning. Of course, distance teaching is mostly online based, as we have a learning platform that you might already know from maybe from school or other projects, and we use Moodle quite a lot. There you can have all the study information that you need. You can access video lectures. You can also access podcasts, quizzes, or assignments that you can do on Moodle. Or you can also get in contact with other students through a forum where you can ask questions, where you can exchange and everything that is necessary. Yes, you can access your learning material online. You can also use a learning app that we have if you want to get in touch with other fellow students and if you want to form groups to study together. Last but not least, of course, we have a library, a university library, and you can access our library services also online and get all the necessary literature that you need for your study. So about organizing your studies. As I mentioned before, you yourself, you decide the pace of your study. However, we are like any other university, we have semesters, each year the winter and the summer term. And to organize your studies, we have a platform, it's called StudyPort. It's online based and you can log in and access all necessary student services. So you have one platform to organize your whole studies. There you can register for the courses that you want to take part in for the next semester. Have an overview of all the courses that you are registered in. You can also access and print your study certificates and manage your account. Later on, I will show you screenshots how the study port looks like. So we have a blended learning system. So we also have study materials that are, besides being online, they are also printed and shipped to you worldwide. It's called in German the Studienbrief. It's quite a unique system that we got. So if you like to, you can get it as a whole package sent to you. Doesn't matter if you live in Germany or anywhere else in the world. And a big advantage is that we specialize in barrier-free and accessibility of our student materials. So if you have any chronic disease or problems, for example, with your eyesight, if you are blind, for example, we have the possibility to make all materials that we use accessible to you. So, as I mentioned before, we have the many campus locations in Germany, Austria, and Hungary. So what are they used for? They are the first contact point or in-person support for you, where you can go meet our colleagues and get student advisory service on any issue. It doesn't matter if you are not enrolled yet, you're just interested, you can go there and they can explain you more in detail about our offers and how to study. But they help you also during your studies. If you have any questions, be it technical or be it more about content of the study, general issues related to your study. You also have a lot of mentors and tutors in our university. And if you like, you can set up meetings with them and go to the campus locations. We have rooms there, so you can also meet with other fellow students and use the rooms as learning spaces. Sometimes there are also seminars and hybrid events that take place. Professors sometimes visit the campus locations for seminars or lectures. And if you like to have the typical study feeling, you can go there and listen. However, most of those events are hybrid. So if you cannot take place in person, you can, of course, watch it online. Sometimes there are also special skill workshops with study-related skills that take place. So, of course, if you think about distance learning, one big question is, of course, the exams. How do exams work? So first of all, you only take part in the exams that you have registered for. And there are several options for exams. They can differ for each course. For example, we have the typical in-person exams that you take. You go to a place and you get a sheet and you have to fill it out and write a text. You can take those exams either at our campus locations, but if you're located outside of Germany, you can also take those exams at one of our partner institutes worldwide. For example, we have a cooperation with the Goethe Institute, which is well known, but also with the German Academic Exchange Service. They have offices all over the world, so you can check for your country which is a partner, and you can take your exams over there. We also have online-based exams that you can also do online or take them at home, for example, with the help of proctoring software. But sometimes it's just necessary that you write a paper and you hand in the term paper. Additionally, you can also take oral exams, for example, with a Zoom meeting. So there are quite a big variety of exams that you can take. If you fail an exam, you have 3 semesters to do it again without having to pay again for the course and without the need of retaking the course. And the last point I want to address is internationalization at home, because even if we are a distance teaching university, we are international. We have a lot of partner universities, especially in Europe. Most of them are also distance teaching universities. And this gives us a huge advantage that we can create international collaborative courses, modules, and summer schools where you can get in touch with international students from other universities who are also distance students. In addition to that, we have virtual mobility cooperations. So if you want, you can go for 1 semester at a different university, also study in distance, but check out how their study system works. Maybe they have interesting courses. And when you continue your studies at FernUni, you can get those courses accredited. Of course, we also offer Erasmus physical exchange. Of course, it's not as common among our students, but if you want to, you can also do that as well. And we have an English learning support. If you want to improve your English learning skills, you can do that. It's also online-based. And we have online-based German language courses. I will go a bit more into detail after the next slides, because I guess that the German courses are quite interesting for you. So as I mentioned before, the study port, the central platform for you, here it is in German as well, it's to organize all of your studies. So if you want to register for courses, you can search for courses and modules in the list. After each semester, you have to continue so that you, so to say that you are continuing your studies. You can do it there. You can register for exams, and you have all this important information and certificates, so that it's easy. I also wanted to give you an example of a Moodle platform, how it can look. Of course, it varies a lot for each different course, because each, of course, has a different approach to it. So this is a platform of one of our summer schools. This one took place in summer. And you can see here that it is quite simply structured. We have at the beginning announcements and also resources and Zoom links for the sessions. And you can see to the left that there are sections for each day. So you just click on the day and you have also necessary information, literature, and everything that you need. And also we have the options to discuss certain topics. For example, to introduce yourself, and you can answer on students' posts. A bit about our study programs and study options. We have in total 5 faculties: the economics faculty, law faculty, psychology, mathematics and computer science, and humanities and social science. I don't want to go into detail into all our study options, but just maybe the biggest degrees that we have. In total, there are 29 bachelor and master degrees in our university. For example, we have business administration, which is quite popular. We have a bachelor and master of law, and you can also do the state exam in law. Our most popular programs is a psychology program, which has no NC. If you already informed yourself about studying in Germany, you know sometimes programs have a numerous clauses, so you need a certain degree to be able to study. We don't have that. Our study programs are open for every grade. For example, we have computer science, mathematics, we have history and sociology, politics. So just to mention a few of our degree programs. And what is of course important is that all of our bachelor and master degrees, they are accredited and they are recognized as any other degree as any other degree in Germany at a public university. So they have the same value as other bachelor programs. Okay, the presentation is loading. Just hope the connection is not too stable at the moment. I don't know if you can see the slide already also. No, it should be there. Yeah, what I want to mention is that we have different study options. Of course, you can do a typical bachelor or a master degree. And you can decide yourself if you want to do it full-time or if you want to do it part-time. Because you can decide each semester how many courses you want to do. And if you take longer for a bachelor or master degree, that is totally up to you. And if you want to do it in full time, you can, of course, do a bachelor in 3 years. Or if you take part-time and longer time, you can also do it in 6 or more years, for example. I see someone wrote in the chat that they can only see the bubble. I hope that the writing is visible. But it mentions the bachelor and master degrees. What we also have is an offer for continuing education. What does it mean? It means that if you are already a working professional and you just want to improve your skills in a certain field, we have different certificates to offer to you. For example, in the field of law, mediation is one of our certificates. Or if you want to improve skills like project management, then we also have different continuing education offers, which are scientifically based. Then a really interesting program we have is open access studies. In the open access studies, you can enroll without any entrance qualification. It does not matter if you have a diploma, certain grades, it doesn't matter. You can just enroll. And you can take part in courses that are the basic courses of each degree program. You can choose out of a list and you can study like any other student in these programs and finish them. And it has an advantage. For example, if you want to test studying at our university, you do not have yet the entrance qualification, for example, the German language skill. You still need to do an exam. Then you can already enroll in the open access study and start with one of the courses, modules. And if you later switch to the regular program, then you can get it already accredited. As we are a normal university and we do research at our university, you can also do a PhD at our university, or if you want to become a professor, you can do habilitation. So yeah, actually we do have researchers here and especially on campus, and so also the insights of research will go into our teaching. Last but not least, what I also want to mention is that we have certificates besides the continuing education if you want to study. But you might think that a bachelor degree is maybe a bit too much, it's too long. you want to have something smaller for a really narrow field of study, then you can do a certain certificate, for example, about data analysis, and then you can receive a certificate after 60 ECTS. And those certificates are also recognized by the state. Another important question, of course, is what does it cost? Usually you pay around 300 euros per semester if you study full-time. So there's a base fee of 50 euros, and for each ECTS that you register for in the semester, you pay a certain amount. So if you study part-time, depending on the course size, you pay, of course, a lot less euros. And in total, the costs for a bachelor are around 2,000 euros, a master about 1,000 euros in total. But again, if you don't study as much for a certain time, you don't pay. So it's quite simple like that. And the cost includes the shipping of the study materials and the supervision and tutoring. However, if you take exams outside of Germany, as one of our partners, you will also have to pay the exam fees so that they can take the exam for you. The important question is, what do you need to study at our university? This does not apply to the open access program. As I mentioned before, you can start in our access program anytime. So usually you need to have a high school diploma or an equivalent qualification. Our student services, they can evaluate if your high school diploma is the same as a German one, which you need for studying. So you can send them your diploma and they will answer if it's sufficient or not. Usually, if it's not sufficient, you have to do 1 year of a Studienkolleg, you might have heard of. But there's a way that you can avoid the Studienkolleg because we quite recently established the test AS. It's a test for foreign students and it's offered by an institute worldwide. It's separate from us, from our university, and it's more of a competence test. So you can do the test in person and get a certain grade points. And if you have sufficient points, you can also start studying at our university, even though your high school diploma might not be immediately sufficient to start studying. As we have German degree programs, you will also need German language skills, level C1. On our website, you can find a list of all the proofs that we accept for the German language skills. There are different options how you can prove that the German skills are enough. Test staff is just one example. Another option is if you already studied 1 year at least at a different university and you already made exams, then you can also start studying at our university. And a bachelor degree qualifies for the master's program. You can also see the dates for the enrollment for the next summer semester, for example, it starts in December until end of January, and for the next winter term, it starts in June. Those are always fixed. I included here a QR code for our study Navi International. It's an online self-assessment. It's like a quiz where you can check if you have a correct understanding of distance studying and what it brings and what are the, what is necessary to be able to do it. So you can check your knowledge about that. So I quickly want to mention the language courses that I mentioned before. They are online based on level B1 and B2. And you can take part if you are a student at our university, or if you're not a student yet, you can also take part in it. However, you need to show that you are someone with a refugee status in Germany at the moment. Otherwise, it's not possible. So that is a requirement. You need to be in Germany, have a refugee status. For example, like many Ukrainian citizens at the moment, or you study at our universities and you can also take part. Usually they go for 3 months, about 12 hours a week. So it's quite a lot. It's quite an intensive course program to improve your skills. and to prepare yourself for studying at FernUniversität. And yeah, there aren't many admission requirements. You should do the on-site German language assessment test. It's you can do it online, so that we have an idea what your German language skills are. And again, the declaration of refugee status, if you take part in the course, that is not for our students. So here on the last slide, you have the contact information. For example, if you want general information about studying at FernUniversität, about the content of certain degrees, for example, then you have the enrollment colleagues. Plus im Ausland, if you have questions about your diplomas, what are the necessary requirements to start studying. And of course, the international office where I'm from, we are also always happy to help. So if you have any questions at all, you can contact us. And otherwise, we can also inform you about mobility programs, international partners, or guest programs. So now I would like to go to the Q&A mode to answer your questions. Maybe some of them have already been answered, but I think it's more useful if I go through them. Let's start with the first question. Oksana asks, how many times do you need to visit the campus live under the virtual university program, and do you have any courses to make them completely online? Sometimes there are in-person events on campus that I mentioned, but they are not mandatory. Either they are hybrid, so they are streamed online, so you can take part online if you want to. Otherwise, you can do different stuff. For example, I know in the computer science degree, there are some kinds of, we call it practicum, where you have to do some practical stuff, and some of them are in person. However, if you are not located any nearby our campus locations, you can contact your teacher, and they usually always solutions to that. So if at all, maybe once, twice a study, you need to be, or might be that it's useful to come to one of our campuses, but it's not mandatory. Okay, we have someone forgot to ask on previous presentation, what programs are available for a foreign student to receive a promotion degree? And can you explain a bit about it, about the promotion degree? So I assume that you mean doing a PhD, if that is correct. You can do a PhD at our university, but we do not have a program which is structured. Sometimes you have that. We have those colleges where you can do a PhD and it's like a degree program really structured. We offer the free promotion program. So how does it work? Usually you have a field of interest that you want to do your PhD on, or your promotion, how to call it. And you contact a professor which you identified fits it really well. You know, there's a professor who is strong in the field that you are interested in, and you can contact him or her anytime. Just ask, hey, I'm Basilka, for example, I'm really interested to do my PhD with you. You explain a bit about your motivation, and that is the first step that you take. And if he's interested and say, yeah, okay, you can do it, and of course you go into contact and discuss it a bit more in detail until you are hired for the promotion, and you can start working on your promotion. Usually the contracts, it varies a bit. I think about 3 years contract is usual time, and sometimes if you work in projects during your promotion, it can take longer. So I hope that answers your question a bit. Scroll through here, it's not that easy sometimes. Okay, so someone is interested about the Erste Juristische Prüfung program. Yes, that is a state exam in law that we have in our university. For example, if you want to become a lawyer in Germany, you do not only have to study law, you have to do the state exam in law. Only that requires or gives you the requirement to become a lawyer or a judge later on. So it's a bit a longer study than the typical bachelor program, which goes 180 ECTS. And the advantage, if you want to do it at our university, you can switch between the study programs. So for example, you can start with the Bachelor of Laws, and if you decide, I still want to do the state exam, the EJP, then you can switch, or the other way around. And the content is a bit more, it's a bit more in detail. You have to do a bit more content about it. And so, of course, with the state exam at the end of your study, you have a centralized exam. So that's not at our university. You have to do it in central spots. Of course, then you will also have to travel to Germany because you have to go in person. But yeah, that's possible to do at our university. So just a brief overview. If you have more detailed questions about the content, you can contact either our advisory service, or you contact me afterwards and I can give you a bit more detailed information. And I will also give you the link in the chat if I'm able to check right now. I think I cannot write in the chat. I will try later, but I will give you the link. Okay, the next question is about the online self-assessment and why take it. If you want to do the psychology program, you need to do the online self-assessment. And for some, if general aspects, you can take it. It's not obligatory. So why do you have to take it? You know that if you want to do a distance degree program, you need certain skills besides being able to study, because you need a lot of self-discipline. It's a bit different than when you go to move to a city and to start at an on-campus university. You have your peers, you have a fixed schedule. Because our university is so flexible, you decide yourself when you want to study. Lectures are on video. You can decide yourself when you want to watch them. So of course, it's quite difficult sometimes to motivate yourself. And the online self-assessment, it will ask you those questions. So and it will ask about the expectations about our study program. So you get a real good idea of how it works and what your expectations can be, how much work will you have to put into it. If you, for example, are working, how much time do you have to put into it so you can succeed studying at our university? And the online self-assessment goes a bit more into detail, and you will notice how much you actually know about the distance teaching study model. So it's quite useful to do at the beginning. Yeah. The next question is also about the law faculty. We have a law faculty, and as I just mentioned, we have, for example, the Bachelor of Laws. Then we have the, in German, Erste Juristische Prüfung, which is a state exam, first state exam in law that you need to do if you want to become a lawyer. With a Bachelor of Laws, you can still have many working options. You can go, for example, to a company and work in the legal department. As a lawyer or judge, you need to do the state exam in law. And we have the Master in Law. So those are the degree programs of our law faculty. And the content is quite broad. So you have the really typical contents as any other law university. This is a chat, if not, well, but you can check on our website about the study content. We have public law, for example. European law is, of course, quite common, which you can do. So I hope that answered it a bit. If you have really specific questions about it, contact me afterwards and I will give you a bit bigger of an overview. Just to save the time, I just want to save a bit time and not go too much into detail, unless you have a really specific questions. Tanya asks, am I correct in understanding that there's no need to have a language certificate if you pass the university's internal language exam. I think it was maybe a bit misunderstood. We do not have an internal language exam. We have what we offer quite recently is a test RS. It's not a language exam. It's a general test to test if you have the competences for studying. In addition, you will always need a proof of your language skills. There are different options how you show it. For example, if you had German at your school and you have it on a certain level and you studied during school German for many years, that is sufficient. Or for example, if you do at the Goethe-Institute a certain test, there are different options how you can prove that you have the necessary skills. So we do not have any internal language exam. For our study bridge courses, the German language courses, we ask you to do the onset. It's free, it should be free, I guess, online test that you can take. And it's more about to see what are your skills in German. There's another question. Also, I've read that some applicants lose their documents during enrollment process. What you can do to avoid that kind of things? That's a pretty good question. And I forgot to mention, if you want to enroll at our university, it's quite simple because you do not have to go in person to one of our campuses and hand it in. You don't have to send it via mail, but you can do it online, most of it. You can make scans of your documents and you can enroll online. So actually those documents cannot get lost. So that is a big advantage. Sile asks if I do not have the opportunity to leave Ukraine, can I study with you 100% part-time? Yes, you can. You do not need to come to Germany. And you can study online. You can get all your student materials that you need. You can access the library service. You can take exams also in Ukraine. There are different opportunities to do that. And about the part-time or full-time, it doesn't matter. You can choose for each semester how much you want to study. So you also do not have to decide at the beginning, oh, I want to do it in part-time. Actually, students are asked to decide for full or part-time, but it's just bureaucratic things that you have to check. For each semester, you choose how many courses you want to do for the next semester, and you can switch anytime. So you can study one semester full-time if you have a lot of time, and the next semester, if you think, it's a bit much with my work, cannot manage it, then you can only do one course, for example. The next question, if I apply to study at FernUni and then withdraw it before the start of classes, will I not have to pay? Okay, that's a specific question. I'm not sure if I can answer it right now. Not sure what the modality is. I will have to check on that. Usually you have the base fee of 50 euros and then you pay for each course, depending on the size of the course. So maybe but I'm not sure if it's before the start of classes that you can withdraw it. Maybe you only have to pay the 50 base fee, the 50 euros for the base fee and not for the courses. That could be, but I'm not 100% sure. So you can leave your email address or write me afterwards and write the international office and I can inquire about that. I heard that at university there's such an option as an online mentor. Yes, we have for our programs tutors on the one hand, mentors and tutors that help you with your studies. So if you have content-related questions, if you want to prepare for an exam, you can contact them. Sometimes they make events where you can meet up and practice some of the content. Besides that, what we have is peer mentoring, it's called. We have it on typical fields, for example, for students with disabilities. So it's not related to your program that you are enrolled in, but about your status. For example, if you have a disability and you want to have a mentor who also is struggling with certain health-related issues, so you can get mentoring on that as well. We are planning to do it with international students, so you can get like a study buddy who helps you with your studies if you are new to our university, especially if you are an international student and maybe German language barrier, it's still there and makes it a bit harder. So that is also an option. So the next question, how many students are on scholarship programs and does the opportunity to get a grant depend on the specialty? It's a bit, I don't know how many students have a scholarship program. I cannot answer that. We have from our university a scholarship program for those who have financial struggles. So if you have a hard time make ends meet, you can apply for it. You will have to hand in a lot of documents and it's a bit bureaucratic, but then you can get a reduced fee for our studying. And there it does not depend on the specialty, it's for all programs. But if you have a scholarship from a different institute or institution outside of our university, I don't know, it depends on it. And I don't know how many there are. Next question is, can I get from you trial education materials that are used in online learning? There are two options. Well, completely free is a bit difficult, but we have bridging courses, for example, for math. There are bridging courses that you can access, or you can do the open access program, what I mentioned before. So you can just enroll and without a big bureaucracy, it's just a simple form you have to fill out. And so you are just in a usual course and module like any other student, so you can test that. It's of course not for free because you have to pay the fee for the course, but it's also a good way to test studying at our university. And you do not have the bureaucratic process. But some programs and faculties, sometimes they have test materials. You have to check which one interests you. You can also contact me later and then I search for free educational trial materials. Next question about the payment. Is the payment made in installments or the entire amount at once? I think the usual process is at once, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be that you can also make different steps, but I would also have to inquire about that, if that is possible. Question is about how are exams and coursework taken online. There are different options. For example, you have Moodle platform and sometimes you can hand in assignments on Moodle, or there are tests and quizzes on Moodle. Sometimes you have to just write a paper and send it via email, so that is quite simple. I don't know if you can even call it online, but that's a way to do an exam. And since the pandemic, we make use in some courses of proctoring, which means you can take the exam at your home computer. And you have to install a certain proctoring software, it's called, which makes sure that you do not open any other tabs, for example, on your computer to check while you write the exam. And that is a way to do an online exam. The next question. You don't have to go to Germany to take exams, that's correct. If I need to take exams, will it be enough to come to the Goethe Institute in Kiev? Yes, that's correct. The Goethe Institute is always an option to do an exam because they are our partners. A disadvantage is you will have to pay a certain fee to them because they have the work to supervise you during the exam. But I know in Kiev there is an option, but I think it might be even in different cities in Ukraine. I will have to check if there are also other opportunities, not only in Kiev, but maybe other cities. But that is an option, yes. And usually it's when you register for an exam, and then you can tell, okay, I'm living here, and what is the best option for me to take the exam, and the faculty will contact you, the examination office, and they will tell you how to go with it. Next question, can I apply for a scholarship while studying in a distance learning program, for example, the IAD? I have to say it is a bit more difficult because we are a special university in that sense, and it depends a bit on the scholarship. For example, if you're not living in Germany, it's a bit difficult with applying for scholarships to go to a different university, for example, abroad, because they only pay it for those living in Germany. So sometimes I have to admit it's a disadvantage, but it depends a bit on the scholarship and for what purpose it is. That is the disadvantage of our flexibility. Next question is, how do employers in Germany treat holders of distance education diplomas? So our diplomas have the same value as any other university. So it's not a disadvantage because the FernUni is actually quite well known as Germany's public distance teaching university. I mean, you saw before on the slides when I showed one of our students, Matthias Maurer, the astronaut. He's an astronaut and he did the degree program. We have some quite famous people that did a program at our university. And scientist who was, for example, in the biochemical research aspect, he got quite famous. There's a few politicians, so it's quite well known, our university, so it's really the same as any other university. Plus, you can always argue that even it might be a bit more of value, because if you manage to go through a distance education, which is not easy, it's not easy to motivate yourself all the time, because you have so much flexibility and it's just different than an on-campus university. So you can even argue that you have much better skills in a certain ways than if you have a degree of an on-campus university. The next question is about where can I see examples of the entrance tests you mentioned? I think you mean the test RS. As I cannot, for some reason, write anything in the chat right now, which did work the last time, I will show you really quickly. I know we have limited time. I share my screen and I will show you the site where you can show you the site where you can get more information. I hope this works now. This is a website to test us DE, and you can check out about. Let me see if it's. Here you can check for the center. You can get information about the test itself, and you can here go, for example, Prüfungsvorbereitung, tests, and you will find a bit more information, for example, mathematics. And you can go through the slides and you have an idea of how it looks like. Just really quickly. Oh, sorry. So, but now I want to quickly go through the questions. I think I have to go through the again. Okay, one question, I think it was answered by me before. What is the cost of online education at your university? So if you study full-time, it's about 300 euros a semester, about 600 euros a year. But if you study in part-time, it's even less. For a bachelor degree is about 2,000 euros. Next question is about what does a prep preparatory courses include, and does this include a lesson about German language specialized terminology. We have different prep courses. Some of them are about our study system, about scientific writing, and we have the German language skills. And to a certain extent, the language courses also address specialized terminology, which is important for studying at university. So they do address, of course, scientific vocabulary. The question is, can the student from another university use materials from your library? And if so, what are the conditions for this? It depends a bit, but in general, I would have to answer no, that you cannot access materials. There might be some offers that are public available, but those will be, for example, articles or magazines that are in general public, like open source sources. Those you probably will be able to access, but in general, it's only for our students. And again, the question, I'm sorry, I got stuck in the list. How many German students are at the university? The majority of our students are German because we have German language degrees in German language. So, and so actually about 10% are international students. So the majority, the rest are German. The second question is about if our programs are in English. We do not have, unfortunately yet, complete English-speaking degrees. We have certain courses and modules that are in English, short courses, and there it is mixed, completely mixed. But there are not yet any complete degree programs. That's why you need German language skills. Unless, for example, you want to do the open access program and you want to choose certain courses, those you can do in English. If I see it correctly, I've went all the questions, but still take your time. If you have any more questions, now's the time. You still have a few minutes, and I'm here even a bit longer if you like. You can stay and ask me anything. So just go through the list if I missed something. I think I missed one question. I cannot make it public, but I will read it. Is there any minimum marks requirement for the test stuff which I need to acquire to be eligible for bachelor's program at our university? I don't know that by heart, but I will look it up. Because we have a list of all the different possibilities to show to show your language skills. Test stuff. You need to have at least level 3 in all parts of the test. So it's level 3. The next question now is, what is the most popular specialty at our university? One is definitely psychology. The reason for this is because we have everybody can study it. Usually in Germany it's quite popular and you need a certain, you need really good grades to be able to study psychology. For us, we take everyone, doesn't matter the grade at school. So that is why quite popular, but also the law programs are really popular. And of course, a bit business administration. Next one is about what specialties are required in Germany. In Germany, we currently have the issue that we are looking for skilled workers everywhere, which is a fortunate situation, of course, if you have certain degrees. And I would say that it's most easy if you have business administration, because it's really broad for a broad field. Also, law is quite useful. Even if you don't want to become a lawyer, you can do, for example, a bachelor or master of laws, and with that you can work in any legal department of a company, for example. Psychology is also not bad. You can combine it, for example, with economics. You can do psychological economics. There's a broad field, working field for that. And what is, of course, always really popular and can be used on the labor market is informatics and computer science. Also mathematics, because if you are able to do mathematics, you need to be quite smart, and you can do a lot of things. You can work in most companies, apply your math skills, and if you have good knowledge of statistics, for example, that is really good condition to find work in Germany. We also have a new certificate about data analysis, for example. Of course, it's a big new thing. Data analysis combining computer science also with math to be able to analyze big data. That is really popular and people are really looked for. Next question is, if I study in Ukraine, how will I do my internship? Is it possible to do an internship in Germany, and does the university help me with this? It depends a bit on the program that you are doing. Not every program requires an internship. It's not that often. The internships that I mentioned before, it's more like it's not an internship at a company, it's like a practical course. And usually it's not necessary or mandatory that you do an internship at a company. At the moment, we are having a new career service where we get a bit more into contact with companies, so we can make it possible for our students to get internships more easily. It was for a long time not so popular because most of our students are already working. So most of our students don't need necessarily internships. But at the moment, our university board, they thought it's a good thing that we get a bit more in touch with the companies, so we can make also internships possible. If you want to do it in Ukraine, I think it should be possible. It depends, of course, a bit on the field. But I cannot say much about it at the moment. It depends a bit on the circumstances and if we can help. I think what is possible is to find a company that we can do, but it won't be easy to get any funding for it. For example, if you want to go to Germany, for example, for a few months or weeks to do the internship.